Hello everybody, in Dom601, Run here, and here I am making a actual video. So, earlier this week, Schleich revealed like half of the figures that they're releasing in 2022. It might not be like half, it might just be like, oh, this is what we're releasing in the spring or whatever. So, they have revealed 5 dinosaurs, well, one of them isn't a dinosaur, but they revealed 5 prehistoric animals, which is already more than 2021 Papo. But anyways, it's about time we should get on to the actual dinosaurs, and the other thing that might not be a dinosaur, I'm not completely sure. First up, we have a Margasaurus, which I like. I am on a personal bias here because the Margasaurus is my favorite sauropod, despite me being horrified of it half of the time. So what is there to actually say about the figure? It looks good. The only real thing that might be out of proportion here is the head, because if you see how long the tail is and how beefy the body is, the neck should just be extended, because the neck doesn't look long enough. However, this was literally just pointed out to me by Fang. It turns out this is a direct copy of the Mattel Margasaurus. I didn't realize until he pointed it out. I just went, oh, it's a Margasaurus. But then he left a comment and I went, holy shit, this is the Mattel Margasaurus. And that is going to be apparent with Schleich in 2022. It appears that they ripped off a few people. Also, can we just acknowledge how thick this thing is? Just look at it. It's built like a fridge. It's just so thick. So there isn't really much to say about the actual model because the detailing looks fine for a Schleich model, and as for the spines, I'll be fully honest here. I don't know which one is more accurate. I don't know if it's accurate to have the connecting sails or for them just to be quills. I'm just gonna say I really hope the answer is like connecting like a fin, because I'm absolutely horrified of the Margasaurus with just quills. So anyways, I won't be picking this thing up because it doesn't particularly impress me, and they ripped off a far better figure, a far better Margasaurus. And if you just want to pick up like a model of Margasaurus, just get Safaris. Safari's good, despite having a few issues. Next up we have, oh Jesus Christ! We have a Majungasaurus, which seems to be a direct copy of the Majungasaurus from a certain show that I'm connected to. Oh, I can only wonder what this can be inspired by. This is very obviously ripped off from the Majungasaurus from Dinosaur King. And I'll be fully honest, the first time I saw this, I nearly had a fucking heart attack. It just took me by such surprise. It felt like this thing was trying to kill me. It felt like this model by Schleich was made specifically to try and kill me. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Although, I will say, despite the colours being from Dinosaur King, these colours are sick! I adore the tiger stripe-like quality between the orange and the white, along with the black lines intersyncing them. Which isn't a good point of Schleich, it's a good point of the design from Dinosaur King. So, we can't talk about the colours, because that's from Dinosaur King. What did Schleich actually make original here? Well, the detailing looks nice. It's quite hard to tell because the quality of these photos aren't the highest. The detailing looks good for a Schleich figure. Although I will say, to me it seems like that the arms might be a little too far up. Because just looking at this one on the right, well, on my left and on its right, the arms just look like they're in the wrong place. And as for the pose, I actually like this pose. It's a more neutral pose. And I really like how the tail just goes up and flips into the air. So, will I be picking up this Majungasaurus? No. Because Schleich ripped off somebody else's colours. And second of all, I do not want to have a heart attack every single time I look at my shelves. Well, let's just be happy the tail isn't facing down, because if it did, it might come to a jaw-dropping conclusion. Then we have this fucking thing. I do not know what I'm looking at. Apparently, I'm meant to be looking at a Novusaurus. And upon looking it up, it turns out this isn't a dinosaur. It's a Saurotigian reptile. It's a aquatic reptile. Which, to be fully honest, I couldn't tell. Because the way this thing looks, at least what Schleich did to it, it doesn't look like it belongs in the ocean. It just looks like a slug that would crawl on land. And I will say, whoever photoshopped this did a very rough job. Because you see at the back, they cut out a part of the tail, and around the fin, it appears that they forgot to cut out a part of the feet. So... Hey, Styracosaurus, if you actually want somebody who can actually cut things out, you know who to call.
I really hate that man.
So what else is there to say about this slug? I'll be fully honest, I didn't know this thing existed until this got revealed. And I will say, I do really like the more natural patterns on the back. I mean, like, we have Majungasaurus, which is more... where the design has taken more creative liberties. However, on this, I could actually see a Novusaurus actually having this. I'll be fully honest here, there isn't that much to say. It's just... a slug. A very weird looking slug. So, on that case, I think we should just move on to the next thing so I have more stuff to talk about. And then we have the Parasaurolophus, which is certainly a Parasaurolophus. I do like the colours, although the colours are nearly taken directly from a piece of Jurassic World concept art, I believe. The only parts that are really missing is the green around the eyes. And then this would just be the Jurassic World art. And it's very sad just to see Schleich just copying other people's colours. Because Schleich is probably the biggest figure company out of a lot that we cover on this channel. Well, disregarding Mattel. They have the most money, they're the most popular. However, it appears that they put the least amount of effort into their models. Well, toys, because these are aimed more towards a younger audience. And yeah, out there this will be somebody's first Parasaurolophus. And, it's possible. It's passable. There isn't much to say about it. It's just a Parasaurolophus. Another thing I'll say is the front foot. I don't know what it is with Schleich next year, but it looks like they just tried to pull off more complex poses and just failed. It looks like its leg is broken. The front foot seems to be bending forward first, and then bending back, and then just going straight down. It looks like its leg is broken. So, I presume this is when we move on to the next dinosaur then. And next up, we have this glorious looking Styracosaurus. Okay, once again, I may be on a personal bias here, because Styracosaurus is my favorite ceratopsian, and it's one of my favorite dinosaurs, period. I actually like this. I really like the colors on this thing. I really like the lime green alongside the soft orange. It just looks nice, alongside the silver belly and the slightly silver legs. I will say it does seem to be a little shrink-wrapped because we do see its ribs a bit, and it might be misproportioned a bit, mainly with front legs, because when I first saw this thing, I felt a little off about it because the legs just look wrong to what I know. They just don't look like they're the right length. And I really like the detail on this thing. Just look at all the lumps all over it. This very much reminds me of the Schleich Triceratops, which, to be fully honest, the Schleich Triceratops is my favorite Triceratops. Come for me. I like this thing. I surprisingly like this thing. This is probably the best figure that Schleich is releasing next year. Because unlike the Majungasaurus and the Margasaurus, they aren't ripping off somebody else's colours. With the Novusaurus, I don't know what the fuck they're thinking with that thing.
I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me.
And we then have the Parasaurolophus, which has, problems. This is probably the most positive one that I have. I actually like this thing. It very much seems that they're trying to recapture the Schleich Triceratops, which, to be honest, I wouldn't mind putting this thing alongside the Schleich Triceratops. But with this thing specifically, I think I might have to wait for like in-hand images just to see how the quality comes across in person. But to be honest, I might be on a little bias here, because once again Styracosaurus is one of my favorite dinosaurs. And also, whenever I think of Styracosaurus, my mind just immediately jumps to the beasts of the Mesozoic Styracosaurus, which is just amazing. And the greatness from that figure might be affecting my opinion on this a little bit. Or maybe because my brain's just fried because I'm seeing something that's actually somewhat competent. Once again, I just think it really depends on how this thing is executed when it gets made into an actual widespread product. This might go either one of two ways. It might end up being like the Schleich Triceratops, or a abysmal failure, which wouldn't be unusual for Schleich. So that is what we have of Schleich 2022 so far. I do anticipate more dinosaurs will get revealed later in the year, as we get closer to these ones getting released. But as for the year overall, it looks alright. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's also not the best thing I've seen. Some of the dinosaurs here aren't the best. However, some of the dinosaurs here aren't that bad. And some of them, I'm actively starting to like. Once again, it just really depends on how Schleich executes this. It just really depends on if the dinosaurs have a high quality when they get produced. So, next year for Schleich, it looks alright, it looks good, it looks good. It looks promising. And as for the other companies, none of their stuff has been revealed yet. The only thing that has been revealed is next year's stuff for Beasts of Mesozoic, which I'll probably end up covering at some point, considering that the Ceratopsin series is one of the most popular videos on my channel. Nothing's been revealed for Safari yet, and nothing's been revealed for Collector yet. But to be honest, those two kind of blend together with me. However, one which I'm really anticipating is Papo's. Because, another unpopular opinion, Papo is my favorite model company. I just really like the aesthetic that their models go for. I just really like how unique they look. I mean, like, we have some downright great figures, and then we have some downright abominations. It's really a 50-50 with Papo these days. Considering that this year we only got two, the Pogalodon and the traumatized Smilodon. Who knows? Papo might end up releasing another Christmas limited edition, ooh! However, I am very eager to see what they do. It's about time I end this video. So thank you so much for watching, and here is Dinosaurs 1. We're into victory.